We're just talking canon movies, which is actually really appropriate for the movie we're reviewing.
Because this one, like the first one, it is a movie out of time. It's somehow, somewhere, a fucking hole opened up and a script fell on the floor in like 1985 and landed today.
I would put this around like, late 80s to mid 90s. This would be out sometime around the time of like Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. This
would have been out like the same weekend as like True Lies.
Yeah, or like debuting on Cinemax as like Cracker Jack 2. Like, make no bones about it. This is, of course, it's a dumb movie. Of course, why wouldn't it be?
It's preposterous.
It is absolutely 100% preposterous. So was the first one. The point of, like, to talk about something like this isn't to just point at it and say it's dumb unless it does it terribly. It's, does it do it entertaining? Does it have enough good qualities about it to make it work? Does what it needs to have work in the same way that Delta Force would, or Cobra, or any early 90s Steven Seagal movie? To me, this one, like the first one, did.
Yeah, it knows what kind of movie it is, and it delivers based on that. Like, it's not trying to establish itself as like some like blockbuster that's gonna like,
no,
it's like, oh man, this is gonna be up there with the ranks of like the Avengers and like you know, like oh, it'll probably do better than Jurassic World and shit like that. Like, no, like there's no sort of like delusions of grandeur about what this movie is. It knows exactly what it is. It's a callback to an era that's long since passed of like the fucking one-man action movie, you know, just he can carry the whole thing, do the impossible, and he's always the man for the job because god damn it, he has to be.
It's a movie about a bad motherfucker killing some motherfuckers. And this movie is, I mentioned to you when it was over, I was like, this movie feels like if Die Hard 5 was at all watchable. There are similar qualities to both of them in terms of their plot.
The large-scale terrorist attacks going on.
Going to another country.
The fact that it's, you know, like...
two guys.
You know, a pair, where the other one was more just kind of like a solo act.
Well, I mean, the Die Hard 5 had McClane and Jai Courtney.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Is like the other like Die Hards, like he's always had like there's always been you know like kind of people in the wings, but it's primarily just been John McClane. And then in that one, him and Jai Courtney like had like an equal share of the action.
That would, in the later Die Hard movies, whether it was him and Jai Courtney, him and Justin Long, or him and Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, like, but that's even my thing is like with Die Hard 3, like Sam Jackson is there, but like at the same time, like he's not like popping out of the car too with like a fucking like, you know, like, oh, John's got a machine gun and he pops out with like a shotgun and they're both just fucking gunning.
Yeah, if Jai Courtney is like, what was he, like fucking CIA or some shit? I can't fucking remember. This movie...
Some organization with letters.
Yeah. This movie, I can tell what's going on in the action, which you couldn't with Die Hard 5. This movie has a lead actor who gives a shit and is worth 100 Bruce Willis's in Die Hard 5.
There's some scenes he gives almost too much of a shit. Like
he easily like
he is giving it 110% at a minimum.
If there is one thing about just one single thing that makes me really adapt to this movie and have a pretty good time with it, it's Gerard Butler. He is great in this movie. He is so good with the one-liners, the charisma. He is so good that he is believable doing an obvious fake-ass accent. He's so... He is... like, American my ass. Like... He's as an American as Sean Connery is Egyptian.
From what I've heard of that Gods of Egypt, he's also as Egyptian as Sean Connery.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. This is, if you go see one silly-ass Gerard Butler movie, make it this one. This has a lot better qualities to it than... Look, they're both silly-ass movies. This one's just better at it. Because, goddamn, like... And I went back and watched the first one yesterday, so the first one's still fresh in my head. This one, like the first one, has no problem with characters just saying fuck. Just saying go fuck yourself. You could be the president of the United States, and you'll look a guy in the eye and just say, I don't fucking like you. Fucking go fuck yourself. This movie's got Gerard Butler getting a glass of water, going into the room and saying...
That was probably my favorite scene in the whole goddamn movie.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird. The entire scene is so goddamn weird.
He comes in and says, I'm just thirsty. I need a glass of fucking water. And chugs it. Yeah,
it has been non-stop action for like at least 15, 20 minutes straight. Like, you've seen untold numbers of people die, explosions, gunfights, chase scenes, fucking everything. Half
of London is gone.
And then they finally get to a safe house. They decide to, like, cool it for a second. Eckhart is sitting in a fucking chair in the dark, just like, like staring off, kind of like contemplating and assessing the situation. And yeah, Gerard Butler just walks in with these two fucking tall ass glasses of fucking water and just hands him one, sits down and just talks about how he is fucking thirsty, and then just gulp. And then just sits there. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Like, I thought it was so weird that I thought the water was going to be poisoned or something. Like, because this was the kind of shot that you do when there's something wrong with the water. No, there never was. He was just fucking thirsty, and he was not shy about saying he was fucking thirsty.
Or like some weird thing, like, it's like Eckhart, like, yeah, thanks. Oh, that's straight vodka, like... Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there is like a recurring line where it's something about bourbon. What was it?
Yeah. At the very beginning, and they repeat it a couple times, him and the president, they're going for like a morning jog, and then Gerard Butler like turns around, he's running backwards and keeping pace with Eckhart running flat out. And then just turns around and just zips off into the distance, and he's asking him, like, it's like, Jesus Christ, the fuck are you made out of? And he says, bourbon and bad decisions. Which is such a fucking 80s movie line.
Yeah, this movie is full of 80s, like, talking about... The first one had the line with, I'm gonna find this motherfucker and put my knife into his brain.
And he did.
And this one, too, like, here's what we're gonna do, Mr. President. We're gonna find the motherfucker and kill the motherfucker. And this movie...
Or shit, whenever he's fucking, like... They're being chased, and, like, he throws a grenade and, like, basically knocks down this whole fucking, like, squad that was out to get them. And then just walks into the room and just pick. Yeah. It takes care of all of them except for one guy who he walks over, just punches the shit out of a couple times, flips him over, brings his arm halfway up his back, and then takes a knife and just stabs his own hand into his own body to hold him still. Then is having a conversation with a guy on, like, the other end of that dude's walkie-talkie, and it's like, oh, here, I want you to hear something real quick, and then starts twisting the knife, getting the guy to like scream until he kills him. Fucking Eckhart's sitting there like, it's like, was all that necessary? He's like, nope. And just walks away.
He said over the radio as he was doing this, like, that's the sound of your fucking brother dying.
Just all kinds of shit like that. Every chance he had.
Like every 5 minutes. Like
every fucking chance he had to say something like that.
And this, unlike Die Hard 5, people actually look scared when something is happening. People actually look kind of afraid. People who, like Angela Bassett, for instance, or the president, like, when the president shoots his gun, he kind of does it like Harrison Ford in Air Force One, where it's kind of going like all over the place and shit like that. Like, it's doing that well. And plus, the president is reacting like to like when he's after Gerard Butler clocks that guy in the throat with a fucking 2x4, and the guy's sitting there suffocating to death, and the president's like, oh my god, like
Eckhart looks like just mortified. He's looking at like, it's like, what? It's like, I've never seen someone asphyxiate to death before. It's like, sorry, I didn't have a knife on me. It's like, that was how that would have gone. Like, then you would have been able to say like, oh my god, I've never seen that much blood come out of someone's throat before. It's like, sorry, I didn't have a 2x4. We're gonna go in circles on this.
I like too when the president starts driving the car and he does it poorly, and he's like, well, look, what do you want from me? I haven't driven in like 6 years.
Like, I'm the fucking president, I don't drive a car.
The kills in this movie are so good. Like the first one with just people left and right getting shot in the head. Or they've in a car chase.
That movie fucking hates heads.
Yeah.
That movie hates heads about as much as fucking John Wick does.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, totally. And this movie, too, with, like, that chase where they're in the car, there's motorcycle guys following them, they slam on the brakes, one guy with a helmet on crashes, half of his body crashes through the back of the car. Gerard Butler just pulls him forward, boom! Just leaves the guy's body hanging out.
Like literally like it's nothing, just grabs him by the mask, pop, and then just turns back around like, well, did that.
What about the guy who was hanging outside on the side of the fucking car? And like...
Yeah, another guy ends up like hitting the side of the car, so he's sticking in through the passenger window. Gerard Butler reaches over and he's grabbed him by like the helmet, and like the guy's saying some sort of like generic terrorist, like it's like, oh, you'll never win, I will kill you, capitalist dog, like some sort of just vague like yep, this is how terrorists have to talk. And he's like, yeah, we'll go do, like something like, yeah, we'll go fuck yourself, and then just swerves the car over into a fucking support pillar and just crushes this man to death. You see his body go taken off, and then he just, like, Angela Bassett's in the passenger seat, he just reaches over, still has the helmet with a head in it, and throws it out his window and keeps driving. It's
like you saw him hold the helmet in his hands, like that head is still in that helmet.
Angela Bassett just sitting there like, oh.
Oh yeah, later on he says something like, I'm gonna send these people back to Afghanistan. What?
It's so stupid, but it is incredibly like patriotic at the same time. Like there's a couple times like he's beating the shit out of people, like it's like going on and on about like fucking America and everything.
Yeah, this is what we do. We're gonna hunt your ass down. We're gonna fucking find you and send you back to the fucking Stone Age. In 1,000 years, we'll still be alive, but you're gonna be fucking extinct.
It's like, Jesus Christ, man, like... They just needed to do like a still shot with like an American flag in the background and an eagle made out of fireworks.
Oh, that cartoon-ass shot from the first one with the flag falling down? The hell was that? Couldn't film a flag falling down, it needed to be animated.
That was an odd choice on that one. It was like, was gravity off that day?
Off limits.
It's like, I don't know, man. I keep letting it go and it goes fucking up. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It was just fucking animated, man.
The first one had that great, like, after that, where it was like, sorry about the house, Mr. President. Don't worry. It's insured. So good.
Thank God it's insured, though. Because they must have a great policy, because this movie is 2 years later, and that fucking thing doesn't look like it's ever been touched.
They didn't show the Washington Monument, though, so I don't know if they rebuilt that since the first one.
Since that plane flew into it.
Yeah, like...
But yeah, like, the White House looks perfect, considering all the carnage that it went through before. Like, it's kind of weird how, like, this one, I mean, granted, a lot of times it ends up happening with, like, 80s action movies a lot. But, like, most of the things that happened are basically, like, ignored. Like, there's, like, one time that Aaron Eckhart mentions his wife.
Oh.
And even then, the way he says it, if you haven't seen the first one...
You'd think she was alive.
You'd assume, that she's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, it's just the way that he, like, it's like, oh yeah, my son sends me these jokes every day, like...
His son is not in this movie at all.
They're a little off color, I don't think his mom would approve.
Like, they do not bring back his son in this movie, except just mentioning him by name. But there are other people in this movie that they do bring back. They honestly really have no reason to. Like, people who had something to do in the first one have zilch to do in this, but are still there. Like Robert Forster and Melissa Leo.
Yeah, Robert Forster is there to once or twice, like, make sure to stand up, like, but Mr. President, this is a dire situation.
And that's it. Like, in the first one, he was at least, like, arguing so much that I kind of thought he might turn out to be a bad guy in the first one.
Well, yeah, and it wouldn't be surprising for someone like Robert Forster to, like, oh, yeah, he turned and now he's the bad guy. Like, okay, I can buy that.
This movie does trick us in one aspect, though. Remember in the first one, the fucking second Dylan McDermott turns up on screen? Yeah, okay, bad guy. He's chain smoking he's practically in shadows when he walks in. This one, they fool us because they throw Jackie Earle Haley in there for no reason other than to think, oh, he might turn out to be a bad guy. No,
but honestly, though, whenever it was doing, like, the parade around of people, and it showed that weaselly little guy who was the mole. Like, oh, here's, I don't know his name, Walter Steele from Arrow. And here's, older British guy that I recognized as well. And here's some Weasley-looking shit. It's like...
Bad guy.
Him.
Yeah,
he has something to do with this.
That wasn't surprising. I like it. They're all gathered in London for the funeral of the Prime Minister. And it when all the foreign presidents and everyone come, it feels like it's a class reunion movie. Like...
Yeah, honestly...
You got people fucking joking with each other. You got the fucking Italian president on the rooftop with his mistress.
And that was just weird, too. Like, that whole, like, montage of showing where, like, these different world leaders are. Because, like, the president is coming in under, like, ultra-heavy guard, like you would assume for a national leader. Then, like the Prime Minister of Canada is this kind of, like, he's in, like a town car, and he's got, like, a couple cars on either side of him. Like, looks official, but, like, not terribly official. And he's just kind of, like, leaning out the window, like, looking at people like, what's up? And then just keeps, like, they're just going. But then, yeah, like, the Italian Prime Minister is, like him and, like, his mistress, because I doubt that was his wife, or just... hanging out on top of, like, Westminster Abbey. Like, I thought they were just gonna start banging up there.
They would have had, like, fucking explosions. Hell, it never cuts back to them. They probably did start banging.
If this did come out in the 80s, they would have been.
Oh, yeah. There would have been, like, a sweet Tony Scott, like, magic hour shot in the background.
Or would have pulled back, like they're standing there talking and she's in front of him, like, has a line about, like, oh, you're only 30 once.
Like, yeah.
And then it would have had him just, like, push her down a little bit, like, hell yeah.
I like the Japanese Prime Minister stuck in traffic.
Yeah, him and his are, like, they're just in, like, a fucking sedan. Like, they're just stuck in traffic. There's no entourage. There's no, like, security force. It's just him and his driver, and they're just taking the long way. They're stuck in the same traffic because of all of the other world leaders.
Yeah. This hardly seems fucking fair.
The president of France, he's in a fucking boat doing, like, paperwork. Like, hey, the car's here. It's like, give me, like, 10 more minutes. I don't give a shit.
It feels like the setup for a movie where they're all old friends and they're meeting back up for a funeral and they're gonna go on a bar hop. But oh no, then terrorism happens.
That's honestly like at the fucking beginning of The Night Before.
Yeah.
That's almost how it is, like as scattered as those three are, and then like, all right, let's do this, and they come together for
like The World's End or something like that.
Yeah. Honestly, like with as spread out as they were, like I wasn't planning on like all of them getting in like larger and larger explosions as the little bit happened there. Like I was actually half expecting it to be the sort of thing like almost kind of like a Escape from New York type thing where like, you know, he ends up having to go around and like round up these different world leaders.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like it wouldn't have surprised me if like, yeah, it was something like that. Like it's like, oh, Mr. President, I just heard one of these shitheads talking about this fucking thing. They got like, you know, the Prime Minister of Italy over here held captive, and they go and they save him, and then it's like the three of them rolling, and like Prime Minister's whipping out like a fucking shotgun and like swearing in Italian and shit like that. Like
that would be amazing.
He built his own fucking Delta Force out of world leaders.
That'll probably be what the Purge election year is.
Honestly,
I'm down.
Yeah.
Totally. So, can we just say, like, between this movie and Olympus Has Fallen, President Aaron Eckhart is like, his performance is great, but he's the worst president. Between all of the shit that's happened under his watch.
Yeah.
Millions of people, half of London is gone. Like, all of those people just dead at the beginning of Olympus. Like, dude. Like, he made it incredibly fucking easy for, like, shit to get taken over by, like, the Koreans in the first one, to the point where we were 3 seconds away from the United States being a nuclear wasteland.
Gotta live dangerously sometimes.
I don't believe in Harvey Dent after seeing this movie. Oh, but his performance is great. Like, oh, totally. But like, dude, man, like thank God you can't run for a third term. There are things about this movie that actually are done better than in the first movie. Like, there's stuff that the first one does better than this, but the explosions are way better in this film. The gunshots, way better in this one. There's some crap CGI in this, not nearly as much as in the first one.
Yeah, I remember, like,
the first one...
Didn't they I'm trying to remember, didn't they CG in a lot of, like...
A lot, like,
flare in front of the guns?
Yeah, oh yeah, when that, like, fucking bomber is going through and it's like, it looks like it's just shooting lasers at him.
Yeah.
There's some silly CGI in this, like, when, like, there's big exterior shots and there's little explosions going off through London, but there are way more, like, squib work in this, way better, like headshot, like,
yeah.
The explosions themselves, between the cars, between, like, the end, when they're outrunning the goddamn explosion in that build, oh, so good. That is way better than...
Continuing the tradition of people outrunning fireballs.
Like, fucking Gerard Butler is like, blow it up now, but you're still inside, do it! Okay, just outrunning fucking fire, yeah!
I love that shit, yeah. Blow the charges, but you're not outside. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna get there unless you blow the charges, like... Alright, you made a fucking point.
Fine. Next time I tell you to blow the building, fucking blow the building.
He only second-guessed you, like, for 1 second, then hit the button, like... Like, you didn't do anything during that time frame except, like, yell at him some more.
Even the crap CGI in this is better than the crap CGI in the first one.
The only time I really had
that exterior shot.
Had a problem with the CG was just when that freighter blows up right next to the French president's boat.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like it's goddamn almost a scene from like a fucking like Wile E. Coyote moment there. Like that looked really bad.
But in this, at least in this, there was far few in between of that. And there was very little of that in this. Like the first one had the most cartoonish ass looking helicopters just flying through the sky. This one has actual helicopters.
Yeah. They definitely they tried a lot harder with trying to get a lot more of the stuff done practically, I think. So
yeah, and there is some good camera work in this. Like there's when it's like kind of one. It's edited to where it looks like one shot that goes on for at least a few minutes, where it's just Gerard Butler just storming this building, killing a bunch of motherfuckers. But there is one scene with Morgan Freeman.
That was so goddamn awkward.
And that's way early in the movie too, so when that happened I was kind of worried. But nothing else like that happened again.
Yeah, it's just for whatever reason, I don't know, like if there was just some conflict where they just could not have him and Gerard Butler in the same fucking place at the same time.
Probably scheduling or something.
Because basically the movie's divided up into like essentially like two units. It's
like the first one.
It's Gerard Butler and everybody with him, and then it's Morgan Freeman and everybody with him. And the people that are with Morgan Freeman, like fucking Robert Forster and Jackie Earle, none of them ever cross over with the other people and vice versa. It's just them talking over the radio to each other. But yeah, there's one fucking scene where Morgan Freeman and Gerard Butler run into each other outside the Oval Office is so goddamn awkward because like Gerard Butler steps out and then you see Morgan Freeman walking up towards the camera, but he walks up and is just like yeah, how are things going? It's a fucking like held close up shot of him.
I recognize this kind of work because I've done it in several movies. Like I couldn't get like you and Dave there for the same day, so boom 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 boom.
Well, and to this day, my favorite version of that, the entire third act of Game Boy.
Yeah. We had different units. There was this group, edited together.
Fucking party scene where there's 10 people in my old living room that was like 10 by 10, and there was never more than like 2 people there at the same time.
I know, so good. Like I tried my best to make it work because I was always there. So like, yeah. So
it's like, how close do I have to be to the couch? Like, well, I think Bianca was sitting in the middle, so I'm gonna set this glass of water here, and then just crop till you can't see the water. It's like we're really close to her. Like I don't know, like
that was fun to do.
A higher angle, maybe. Maybe we could have her for no reason to get up and stand by the bookcase because we haven't put anyone in front of the bookcase. No one's by that bookcase.
So I think we put like Sam and Alex there. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen that, but yeah, oh yeah, totally. Like that's why instantly I recognize that kind of camera work
because it was so close, and then it cuts back to Gerard Butler, and we're like this up on his face. It's like the entire theater screen is just his face. It's like, hey, how you doing? It's like, God, why are we this close? And then it's basically that, like, it kind of once or twice tries cropping to where you can see just, like, part of a shoulder. And then does the whole, like, it's like, well, all right, I'll see you later. And then it pulls back to the whole scene. And then you just see the back of a head walking away. Like,
totally
like,
not.
That's not fucking him.
Yeah, totally not Morgan Freeman.
That's some intern that they said, like, like, you're black enough, here, put this wig on.
Yeah. there's one thing that this, and you brought this up because I watched you guys' video on it last night. I'd actually not seen it. I wanted to wait till I saw the first one all the way through to. Because
I remember. I think I even remember telling you at the time. It's like just watch the movie before you like. Oh man, it's a fucking Lost Seagal film.
Yeah, there was one thing that I totally agreed with you on, and you brought it up. And, like, Dave started giving you shit like, man, like, I thought I was a nitpicker. But I'm like, I totally agree with him because I thought the same thing. And I absolutely feel this way when this happens. And it's something this movie does better than the first one. Whenever it's showing, like, news, somebody on the news, and it's like a big network like an MSNBC or a Fox or a CNN or something like that, and it'll look like something that's not even a local affiliate would look that cheap.
Yeah.
And the first one did that quite a bit. And they had, this is another person they bring back for this. They bring back Lawrence O'Donnell for this one. They had, and
I love, like, I've seen like him pop up as like news anchor in several things.
Yeah.
Like, I love that he's always game to do this.
Yeah, he's always down for it. And in the first one, they have him sitting in what, again, you wouldn't even see this on, like, you wouldn't even see, like, a public access news thing look this cheap. Why couldn't they have just filmed him on his actual news set? Like, in this, no, he's not sitting in, like, his Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell set, but it looks better than it did in the first one.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, just make it look like how 24-hour news looks now. It's either them in front of, like a production room, or them in front of, like, two giant wall-sized fucking televisions.
I always noticed that, too. Like, when you said that in that video, it's like, good, I'm not the only one who... whenever something really fakey like that happens, I'm like, how does they not know what a news thing, a proper news thing looks like?
Yeah, like, they frame it weird, or, like, the ones where it's just, like, there's so much stuff on the screen. Like, there's a ticker, and then they've got, like, things up here, and then this, and like a stock thing practically. Like, like, no news channel is that chaotic. Like, this looks more like fucking, like half the time, like, when it has all that shit on there, like
Mad Money or some shit like that.
Yeah, like, it's like something like that, or it's it's fucking QVC or some shit. Like, they're trying to sell you the news.
Yeah. I mean, it's gotten at least they actually have stuff in the background now. I watched Death Wish 2 a week ago for the site, and there's a part in the movie where Bronson's watching the news, and it's just a guy in a chair in front of a fucking wall. Like a tan wall, and that's it. Is like, well, the vigilante's loose on the street. Like, what the fuck? Really?
Now that's the public access news.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's only on once a week though, so the vigilante's already been caught by this point.
Yeah, they at least stepped up their news feed game in this one.
They tried a lot harder on this one. Although I noticed, like, a lot of times, like, they'll do, like, dumb things, like, to try to get away with tricking you, like, down in the corner. Like, it'll say, like, you know, just, if it has, like, it'll have, like, either, like, a little, like production logo in the corner for, like, the news, or it's like, oh, yeah, they're turning into, like, GNN.
Oh, like in Batman, where it's GNN, yeah.
We're like, oh man, let's see what's over here on the right-leaning Box News channel. Like, this one here, like, none of the news channels had any sort of logos at the bottom. It just had, like, in the corner, like, breaking news.
Yeah.
It's like,
all right. Couldn't even get HLN? The fuck? Really?
But I at least noticed, though, too, is, like, it seemed like they were trying to, like, somewhat work with it. Like, whenever it was, you know, like, they were looking at, like, a British news channel, it was red and white at the bottom, like it was BBC World News. So, I mean, they were attempting, like, a similar thing, but yeah, they skipped, like, even doing, like, fake call letters or something like that, because I'm sure at some point somebody's probably, like, it's like, oh yeah, just put in the corner, like, it's not CBS, it's a GBS. And I'm sure there's probably somebody...
WMBC.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some place somewhere. It's like, actually, we are GBS News.
Oh, yeah, that's totally intentional. We're going for you guys.
It's like, sorry.
There's one edge the first one has on this, in the sense that, like, the villain was way better in the first one. Not that the villain in the first one really had much depth to him, but Rick Yoon was at least intimidating. Like, he was at least having fun. The villain got to do some pretty, like, hell, like, that fucking extended scene when poor Melissa Leo was getting the shit beat out of her in the first one. Holy shit. There's really not, like, the villains in this are... honestly about as forgettable as in Die Hard 5. They're just... stock guy who's kind of like Jeremy Irons, and then other guy who's just whatever. I know he's the main bad guy because he has lines.
Yeah, honestly, that's the easiest way to tell because no one else talks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, one like the main bad that they're chasing is just some like terrorist sort of like ringleader type figure. So. I honestly, like, his role in this movie is almost identical to, like, Jon Voight in, what the fuck was that? Oh, fuck me. How did I forget? Getaway.
Oh, okay.
He's just completely disconnected from the entire plot, just somewhere else, fucking around on his laptop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, there's all these bad guys, and he's the main bad guy, and he has practically nothing to do with this movie.
No, it had to have... That guy could have easily filmed his entire part in half a day. Hell, when he dies... I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's... whatever. They drop a bomb on him, and it doesn't really even show it. It's...
Well, and maybe it was just me, but I didn't find that to be a very fitting conclusion to this whole scenario.
No, me neither.
Well, just because the fact that the movie starts with he's a known bad guy douchebag. So the G8, summit, they get approval to go ahead and, do like a drone strike and take out this guy. And his whole family is there for, like, his daughter's wedding, like he's the fucking godfather. And, it ends up, like, killing his daughter, like, I don't know, blowing the legs off one of them. Like, there was another guy there that I don't know that we saw again. I don't know. Then, like, the one that was just really pissed off the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, like, their family seems pretty much okay. Minus the legs and that one girl. But, it's called in a drone strike, totally fucked it up. And then the resolution at the end of this one, after they find out where he is they call in a drone strike to blow up his location. That didn't work the last time, and there's zero way to verify if he's dead in that sort of situation.
I take it in this one, like, he's looking up and sees the actual bomb coming at him. I can buy that this time they got him, but at the same time, I know what you mean in the sense that, like, there might be... I believe he's dead, but there might be someone who's gonna maybe try something, like, I don't know, maybe, like, a better conclusion considering what happened at the beginning of it and the chain of events that followed. Maybe you should have just had him look up and Gerard Butler is just standing up there with a sniper rifle. It wouldn't have made sense, but neither does a lot of this movie.
It's like, look out your window, looks up, hey, fuckface, bam!
Yeah.
Credits.
Yeah.
That honestly would have made more sense than how they ended it. Because even the fact, like, it's like, yeah, they tells them to look up, and then, like, that's when it's coming in. But even at that, like, that first scene when his whole fucking family gets blown up, like, the main guy that was, like, running everything on the ground there, Cameron or whatever his name was, He was the one, like, it shows during that scene, like, you hear, like, the whistling of, like, you know, like, the missile coming in, and he even looks back and looks at it like, what the fuck? And then it cuts outside and the whole fucking place explodes. So I'm like, apparently, you don't have to really be too far from that explosion for it to be perfectly non-lethal.
Well, yeah, I mean, we just saw, like, the fire has to touch you to kill you. Like, because Gerard Butler and Aaron Eckhart escaped just fine when they outran the motherfucker, but the one guy who was in there, the fire touched him, he's dead. The fire has to fully engulf you to kill you.
That does make sense.
It's like, as long as you're not standing in the explosion of the grenade, you're fine. I like that one weapon that they had that they threw on the hood of the car that, like, fucking melted all the way through it to destroy the engine.
Yeah, that weird little, like, incendiary thing. Like,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's a real thing or not.
That was kind of cool.
That's a handy little thing. Just fucking melt, like, oh, the car's bulletproof. Like, it's really heavy, like, you know, like, okay, well, let's throw something on top that's gonna get hot enough that it burns through and then melts the engine. Like, there, it doesn't matter if it's bulletproof, it's not gonna go anywhere now. It's like, that's clever.
This movie, like, I know it's getting way worse reviews than the first one, and look, if you don't, I understand why critics don't like it in the same way I understand critics didn't like canon movies when that was a thing, for the most part, but I mean, if you don't like this movie, I get it. Like, I know Matthew really hated it. Like, I get it. I do. But if you really like this kind of...
because he really loves that bridge.
I was like, he might have died in this movie. It's probably why he doesn't like it.
He's probably mad because it's like, yeah, like, the whole week I couldn't fucking take the fucking bus because it didn't come from my house.
Yeah, right.
That shit would piss me off, though.
Yeah, so it rarely happens to us in Springfield.
Well, I remember, like, the Aaron and Dave had that problem up in Chicago a few times.
3, and Batman.
Well, and they were, like, some of the scenes in Contagion, they filmed, like, a block over from where they're at, so, like, they'd be yelling at him if they came outside. Like, I'm checking a text message. I'm not trying to film the fucking set.
Yeah. Like, here we just said, like, I don't know, they filmed Legally Blonde 2 here. Worth it. This movie had the right kind of ingredients for me to really have fun with a movie like this. It had really good kills. The action was solid. It had a great hero. The villain sucked, but, like, it had other stuff to carry me through the movie. I didn't mind this. Yeah, it's dumb, but I don't give a shit that Delta Force 2 is dumb. It works in the right ways.
There's a lot of dumb action movies that I thoroughly enjoy.
And I had a good time at this.
Yeah, and that's the biggest part for me is, like, you can have an action movie, you can have super complicated plots, very straightforward plots, you know, well-established villains, but if at the end of it, if it's not fun, it doesn't fucking matter.
If it's not fun, if you can't tell what's going on, if you have a lead who just doesn't give a fuck and is just sleepwalking through the goddamn thing, this movie, goddamn, Gerard Butler is so good at this kind of movie. He's having as much fun in this as he was having in the first one. Like,
well, in bringing that same sort of, like, granted, it was a much different style of movie, but that same sort of, like, just really, like, doesn't give a shit, gonna act as shitty as possible attitude that he had in something like Law-Abiding Citizen.
Yeah, or Gamer.
Yeah.
He is...
Fucking stupid movie. You know what? I had fun.
Yeah. I totally agree. Like, I wish... I wish he did more movies like this. I really do. He is just made for this kind of movie. I think if you like The Taking of Beverly Hills, you will like this movie. So if this movie is your cup of tea,
it's like if If you want a copy of Invasion USA.
Yeah, if you own Invasion USA, if you own...
Then you should have already gone to see this tonight.
Yeah. If you got your own canon library, if you like the first one, yeah, I would say totally go check it out. Like, if it's not your... If you're a lot pickier towards this kind of movie, if it's not your thing, you'll just complain about it. Whatever. Like, if it's not your kind of thing, I get it. Like, it's a dumb movie. You're gonna find stuff to pick apart about it. I get it, believe me. But like, I don't know. I had fun. Like, it really did its job for me. If this isn't your thing, maybe like if you want to rent it, go ahead. But
yeah, I mean, well, and it's even the sort of thing. Like, I think it comes out at a good time too, because like for people who like, like maybe like their significant other isn't really for these type of movies, but like if you could if you talked them into going to see like Deadpool, then you could easily sell them on this movie here.
I mean, sure. I mean, Deadpool's a much smarter movie than this, but
it just as far as like, it's like just rampant destruction and just fucking like bullshit.
A solid lead. Yeah, like, I mean, to me, it's worth the ticket price alone just to see Gerard Butler say fucking stab a guy in the eye.
Just so
that happens.
Just so cold too. Like, he does that shit like he's fucking Michael Myers. Just like stick.
Yeah.
Guys dropping to the floor and he just walks across the fucking hallway to the other side. Like, doesn't even break stride.
He is interrogating a man as he's stabbing him, not waiting until his question is done or anything like that. As he is stabbing him multiple times, he is interrogating him. And
he keeps stabbing him in the chest. It's like, that's where your lungs are. He can't talk, you asshole.
If all of what we've said speaks to you, you're gonna have fun with this movie. God, what is next week? Next week I'm gonna be a little late on Thursday next week is Violet's birthday, so happy birthday, baby. We're gonna go see 10 Cloverfield Lane. Actually, I am looking forward to that, but
yeah,
but no.
I'm very curious about this movie.
Yeah, I'm actually like really excited for this, but like, it'll be over the weekend that we go see it, because it's our birthday. We're gonna be out drinking. I can't remember what else comes out.
Get a very belligerent review for it.
Oh God, yeah. Why did they even let us in?
It's like, I don't know. They're in a fucking basement or I don't fucking know.
It's 12 hours long because we forgot to turn it off. And then for some reason just uploaded it as is.
It's like, I could put in an edit here.
Nah. Fuck it. They'll figure it out.
Good thing I had it in that 60 gig card.
I knew it was right to buy that. See it.